that is a method. We're telling it to use method number 1 on Turbo. There's actually multiple. There's Turbo for XVID though. For the XVID codec, if you put Turbo equals 1, it's Boolean. That means either use Turbo or don't. If Turbo equals 1, that means use Turbo. With X264, there's 2 types of Turbo. So you could say, I think there actually might be 3, but we're only going to use the first method. So Turbo equals 1, colon, pass equals 1. Space, that's the end of your video codec options chain. Space dash OFPS for output frames per second, 25, space dash pass log file, space, and then double quotes to surround it in case we need to include single quotes, hyphens, whatever you want to call it in the name. So the path to the movie, or the path to the log file, which is, I always put it in the same folder as the movie. So in my case, it'd be /home, /Alex, /desktop, / and we'll call it cops.log, or I always call it log.log. Like I said, the only time you need to give it movie name.log is if you've got multiple movies in the same directory and you're going to have multiple log files in that same directory. Then you need to give it movie name.log. But if each one's in its own directory, I just call it log.log. There's no need for anything else. Alright. Plus, as you'll see here in a moment, when we go to do the mass transcode script, log.log is what you have to use. You can't give it movie name.log. Anyway, space, that's our log file. Now space dash FFOURCC, our 4cc's flag. And then our 4cc's flag is, I don't use one for X264. Well, whatever. Leave it out then. Alright, what else do I have? That looks like just about it. Hit -O for the output, and then /dev /null. Because like I said, we don't need to output a video file, just the log file. And then hit enter. And then here's what I do though. Now, if you're just doing a few movies, you don't need to put together a mass transcode script. Now look at this. You can hit enter and let it run, and then when it's done, you can hit up and then backspace and replace pass equals 1 with pass equals 2, and then go to the end and replace dev null with the path to the movie, which in my case would be home, Alex, desktop, and I need a capital D for that, and cops.avi. Now, and you replace it with the output path to the movie, .avi, remember, .avi. Anyway, and then hit enter. Or, if you don't want to wait around, because the first pass is so much faster than the second pass, because all it's doing is gathering statistical information. It's not writing anything. It's a lot faster by a few hours. So here's what you do. Hit up till you got the second pass showing. Copy it all the way from the word mencoder all the way down to AVI. And then hit right click and hit click on copy. Remember, you can't hit Control C in a terminal because that means cancel. Then hit up again to where it's on the first pass. And then hit semicolon at the very end of the command. Hit the semicolon key to separate that command, and then paste in the next one. So you've got 2 passes, and because on the terminal, on a command line, if you use a semicolon, you could put multiple commands on the same line. You could put multiple commands in together if you separate them with the semicolon, not to be confused with the colon. So anyway, you have the first pass information, semicolon, second pass information, hit enter. And now you can walk away. And 6 hours later, first and second pass will be done. You'll have a finished product movie waiting for you. And like I said, it would be about 6 hours. X264 is fucking slow. And I've got a very fast computer. Alright. Now as you see, I just hit cancel, and then it started skipping to the next pass because both commands were put in together. Alright. That's how you do 2-pass encoding with X264. But check this out. I'm going to show you how you do it if you're like seriously fucking transcoding mass quantities of movies. Alright, in this directory, I have hundreds of folders. I've got one folder for each and every movie. And as you can see, I still got the X264 file for some of my movies, the file I used to set up my video filters. So what you do, here's how I mass transcode movies and put together my files. The easiest way to do it is go up to the top level above all your folders and then right click on the folder that contains all the other folders that contain movies. For example, on my Multimedia 1 folder, which is actually a hard drive of its own, that contains, underneath that is all the folders for all my movies, like each and every one of them. So right click on that, go to search for files if you have that Search Nautilus extension installed. If you don't, look for the Nautilus search extension to right click on folders and search through them. It's a big help. Otherwise, I mean, you could do it. You could do it without searching for them. But anyway, put VOB in the search box, and I only got an empty text file named VOB to remind me that I'm not done fucking with that file. But I don't have any VOBs on my hard drive because I already got done transcoding everything. But anyway, check it out. There'll be a long list of folders here with and files of your VOB files that you've been mass dumping into your multimedia drive, and each and every one of them is into separate folders. Right click on each one and go to Open Folder, and then after you go to Open Folder, you'll have an X264 file that I'm going to give you later that you can download from my website. You copy that X264 file and then paste it into the folder and then close it, and then go back to the next VOB, Open Folder, right click, paste, and paste the empty X264 file into that folder. The X264 file is a template that has a profile name, and then that's pretty much it. That's pretty much fucking it. Because I'm going to show you how to write a profile right here in a second. You can download my profile from my website so that you don't have to type all this shit out yourself. Because as you can see, look at this right here. This is how long a profile is that I've got. And it covers every aspect ratio I've ever come across. Look at that. That's longer than fuck. That's 1,423 lines long. So you better download it from my website instead of trying to write your own. That's an X264 profile configuration script that I wrote, or configuration file that I wrote. Anyway, this is an X264 encoding script, shell script that I wrote. You're going to paste it into every single one of these directories that has a VOB file. Everywhere you have a VOB file, you're going to paste an X264 file that you downloaded from my website. And then what you're going to do is you're going to open each and every X264 file. Now remember, how I told you before, you can do your mPlayer space, then drag the file over, hit enter, play the file, and then figure out what your video filter and your audio filter chain is going to be. After you figure out your audio and video filter, look, VF equals blah blah blah, AF equals blah blah blah. That is all you need ever again, okay? Right click, highlight it after you play the movie and figure out what your filters are. Copy the filters. Now that's when you're playing the movie. That's not your M-encoder filters. That's not your codec filters. That's not your audio and video encoders. That's just your M-player filters that I showed you how to do at the very beginning of this video. Your audio and video filters, not codecs. Open your X264 file and you'll see M-encoder asterisk VOB and then space backslash and then paste in VF equals all your video filters, AF equals all your audio filters. Paste it into one long line, and then underneath that it'll say profile, and then Q1, and then 1.78, and then dash P1. Leave it alone. This 2.35 that you see here on mine, which is probably going to be 1.78 when you download the script, change it to whatever the aspect ratio is. Whatever your D size flag says right here, put that same thing right here. That'll tell it which profile to use to transcode this video. And then down here, do the same thing. Paste that video and audio filter chain back in here in this empty spot. And then right here where it says Q1-1.78, replace 1.78 with whatever you have for your D size filter. That way it grabs the correct profile. Then on your output, you just put your name.